So I've been playing a lot of Ball X Pit recently, and I finally managed to find every single evolution for every single ball in this game. And I'm going to show you all each encyclopedia entry and how to unlock them. And at the very end, I'll reveal my personal top 3 favorite balls to use in this game. So starting everything, let me briefly mention that I won't go over the initial starting balls that you get. You just get them through progressing through the game, and the last one you get is Charm, which will unlock the third to last stage, I believe. But just know, you'll unlock them if you keep playing, so just keep clearing stage after stage, and you should get them after you complete it. And up first, we have the Assassin Ball, and this passes through the front of enemies, but not the back, so it'll phase through them, and it's really good for getting in the back line, and backstabs also deal 30% more damage. What you need for this ball is Iron with Ghost, or Iron with Dark. After that, we have the Berserk Ball, and this is Charm with Fire or Charm with Bleed, and each hit has a 30% chance of causing enemies to go Berserk for 6 seconds, and they will just attack the adjacent enemy near them, and this is very good. After that, we have Black Hole, and Black Hole is Dark and Sun, and the way you get Sun is by combining Burn and Light. So this instantly kills the first non-boss enemy that it hits, but destroys itself afterwards, and has a 7-second cooldown before it gets shot, and it really isn't that good unless you're going for one-shot builds. Now, Blizzard is Frozen with Lightning or Frozen with Wind. It freezes all enemies within a 2-tile radius for around a second and deals 1 through 50 damage. Pretty good. Then we have Bomb, which is Burn and Iron being combined, and explodes immediately when hitting an enemy and deals around 150 to 300 damage, and has a 3-second cooldown before it could be shot again. Flash is Lightning and Light combined together, and it damages all the enemies on the screen for 1 to 3 damage after hitting an enemy and blinding them for 2 seconds. Flicker is Light and Dark, and it deals 1 to 7 damage to every enemy on the screen every 1.5 seconds. Freeze Ray is Frozen with either a vertical or horizontal ball, and it emits a freezing ray which hits the enemy and deals 20 to 50 damage to all enemies in its path, while also giving them a chance to get frozen. Frozen Flame is Burn and Frozen being combined, and that adds a stack of Frostburn on hit for 20 seconds, and you can have a max of 4 stacks with it. Frostburn units deal 8 to 12 damage per stack per second and receive 25% more damage from other sources. So it's really good to have, as your other balls can damage that same Frostburn enemy even more. Now, Glacier is Frozen with Earthquake, and it's one of my favorites for early game, and it releases glacial spikes over time as it hits enemies, and then those spikes travel up the stage and then attack people within a radius, and those spikes deal, as you can see, 6 to 12 damage. And it also freezes on the side, so it's just very good to have. Following that, we have Hemorrhage, which inflicts 3 stacks of bleed each time it hits someone, and whenever an enemy has more than 12 stacks of bleed, it consumes all the stacks to deal 20% of their current health. Very good for bosses. Holy Laser is the horizontal and vertical laser being combined, and it just attacks people in a T pattern, a perpendicular pattern, if you will, and it's pretty good. Incubus is Charm and Dark being combined, and each hit has a 4% chance of charming the enemy for 9 seconds in total. Charmed enemies curse nearby enemies, and those cursed enemies are then dealt 100 to 200 damage after being hit 5 times. Inferno is Burn and Wind being combined, and this applies 1 stack of Burn every second to all enemies within a 2-tile radius. Burn lasts for 6 seconds, dealing 3 to 7 damage per stack per second. And this is pretty good if you get an Inferno level 3 and a Blizzard level 3, infuse them, so you could get Burn and Frozen stacks, and those 2-tile radius still damage, like they do both types. It's pretty good fused. Then after, we have Laser Beam, which is either the horizontal or vertical laser combined with light, and it emits a laser beam that deals 30 to 42 damage and also blinds enemies for 8 seconds. Leech is the BroodMother combined with Bleed, and it attaches up to 1 Leech onto the enemy it hits, which stacks 2 bleed per second at a max of 24. Lightning Rod, which is another one of my favorites for early game, is Lightning combined with Iron, and it plants a lightning rod into enemies it hits, and these enemies are struck by lightning every 3 seconds, dealing 1 to 30 damage up to 8 nearby enemies. Our next entry is called Lovestruck. It is Charm combined with Light or Charm combined with Lightning. It inflicts Lovestruck on enemies for 20 seconds, and Lovestruck units have a 50% chance of healing you for 5 health when they attack, which can be pretty clutch if you're getting overrun and you're about to get hit, and then you Lovestruck them last second, so when they do jump on you and pounce on you, it heals you instead. Well, 50% chance to heal you. Still pretty good. Then we have Maggot, which is Cell combined with the BroodMother, and it infests enemies with maggots on hit, and when they die, they explode into 1 to 2 baby balls, which can be good if you have a character that shoots a lot or spams a lot of attacks constantly. Following that, we have Magma, which is Burn and Earthquake being combined, and this is similar to Glacier. As you can see, it emits lava blobs over time, so instead of the ice blobs, it's the lava blobs. And enemies who walk into the lava blobs are dealt with 15 to 30 damage and gain 1 stack burn. A max of 3 stacks. Burns last for 3 seconds, dealing 3 to 8 damage per stack per second. And you also get the little earthquake effect where the lava blob also deals damage to the nearby units, so it's an AoE attack. Once again, this is one of my favorites for early game, and if you get this alongside the Glacier at the same time, it's pretty good. Mosquito King is Vampire and the BroodMother being combined, and it spawns a mosquito each time it hits an enemy. These mosquitoes attack an enemy at random, dealing 80 to 120 damage each. If a mosquito kills an enemy, they steal 1 health. The Mosquito Swarm is Vampire combined with the Egg Sac, and it explodes into 3 to 6 mosquitoes, and again, these mosquitoes attack at random, dealing between 80 to 120 damage each. If a mosquito kills an enemy, they also steal 1 health from this as well. Then we have Nauseous, which is Poison combined with Wind or Dark combined with Wind. This passes through enemies and applies 3 stacks of poison to nearby enemies within a 2-tile radius. The poison lasts for 4 seconds, and each stack deals 1 to 3 damage per second. Another good one right there, especially for crowd control. Nuclear Bomb. Bet you guys did not expect to see that, but it is Bomb combined with Poison, and Bomb again is Iron and Burn being combined. And it explodes when hitting an enemy, dealing 300 to 500 damage to nearby enemies and applying 1 stack of radiation to everyone present indefinitely. A max of 5 stacks. Each stack of radiation increases damage received by 10%, but this does have a 3-second cooldown, which isn't that bad, honestly, for the damage it does. And once again, this is a pretty good one if you're going for one-shot builds, and it's excellent for crowd control. Overgrowth is Earthquake combined with Cell, and it applies 1 stack of Overgrowth, which upon reaching 3 consumes all stacks and deals 150 to 200 damage to all enemies in a 3x3 tile square. Another one of my favorites. Really like this one. Phantom is Dark and Ghost being combined, and it curses enemies on hit, and cursed enemies are dealt 100 to 200 damage after being hit 5 times. Radiation Beam is Laser combined with Poison or Cell, and it emits a radiation beam on hit that deals 24 to 48 damage and applies 1 stack of radiation with a max of 5 stacks. Radiation lasts for 15 seconds, and once again, it causes enemies to receive 10% more damage from all sources per stack. Again, this is one of my favorites because of the 10% more damage per stack. So if you just spam those enemies, they're just going to take more and more radiation. And then once they reach that 5 stacks, that's 50% more damage that they'll take. Very good. Sacrifice is Bleed and Dark being combined, and inflicts 4 stacks of bleed with a max of 15 and applies Curse to hit enemies. And again, cursed enemies are dealt 50 to 100 damage after being hit 5 times. So you get the bleed on top of the curse. Sandstorm is Earthquake and Wind, and it goes through enemies and has a little storm around it, which deals 10 to 20 damage per second and also blinds the enemies for 3 seconds. And blinding an enemy makes them aim at you slightly suckier, so you'll be able to dodge a bit better. Now we have Satan, and arguably, well, not even arguably, this is the best ball in the game, and it is Incubus combined with Succubus, which again, Incubus is Charm and Dark being combined, Succubus is Charm and Vampire being combined. I don't think we got to one of these yet, but we'll get to them soon. But yeah, once you combine these two, it adds a stack of burn to all active enemies per second with a max of 5 stacks, dealing 10 to 20 damage per stack per second, and makes them go berserk as well, which makes them deal damage to the adjacent enemies every second. I actually have to show gameplay on this one because this is insane. I got this, and keep in mind, these characters were under leveled for their stage, and it just decimated everything on the screen. Here we have Shotgun, which is Iron combined with Egg Sac, and it shoots 3 to 7 baby balls after hitting a wall, and iron baby balls move at 200% speed or are destroyed upon hitting anything. This is still immensely good though, as if you have a character that maybe makes balls phase through until they hit a wall, you can just shoot that toward the back line and just have it bounce back and forth, constantly spitting out baby balls. Soul Sucker is Vampire combined with Ghost, and it passes through enemies and saps them with a 30% chance of stealing 1 health and reducing their attack damage by 20% as well. Spider Queen is the BroodMother combined with the Egg Sac, and has a 25% chance of birthing an egg sac each time it hits an enemy. Storm is Lightning combined with Wind, and it emits lightning to strike enemies that are nearby the ball every second, dealing 140 damage. Succubus is Charm combined with Vampire, and is one of the most important parts to get Satan, and each hit has a 4% chance of charming the enemy for 9 seconds. Heals 1 when hitting a charmed enemy, so pretty good. Sun is Burn combined with Light, and it blinds all enemies in view and adds 1 stack of burn every second with a max of 5. Burn lasts for 6 seconds and deals 6 to 12 damage per stack per second. Swamp is Poison combined with Earthquake, and this is just like Magma, how it leaves blobs behind. And enemies who walk into these blobs are dealt 15 to 30 damage and are slowed for 50% for 7 seconds. They also gain 1 stack of poison with a max of 8, and each stack of poison deals 1 to 3 damage per second. The ball and its tar blobs also deal 6 to 12 damage to nearby units. Once again, this is an excellent ball for crowd control and for early game because all you need is poison and earthquake, which are very attainable early on. Next we have Vampire Lord, which is Vampire with Bleed or Dark, and each hit inflicts 3 stacks of bleed and heals 1 health and consumes all stacks when hitting an enemy with at least 10 stacks of bleed on it. Virus is Ghost combined with Poison or Cell combined with Poison, and it applies 1 stack of disease to units it hits with a max of 8. Disease lasts for 6 seconds, and each stack of disease deals 3 to 6 damage per second, and disease units have a 15% chance of passing a stack to an undiseased nearby enemy. The Voluptuous Egg Sac is the Egg Sac combined with the Cell. It explodes into 2 to 3 egg sacs on hitting an enemy and has a 3-second cooldown before it can get shot again. Wraith is Frozen combined with Ghost, and it freezes any enemy it passes for around a second. And lastly, we have Nosferatu, and this is the Vampire Lord combined with the Spider Queen combined with the King Mosquito. It is a 3-stage evolution, and all 3 balls are also already evolved balls. So with the Vampire Lord, you're going to need Vampire combined with Dark. For the Spider Queen, you're going to need the BroodMother combined with the Egg Sac. And for the King Mosquito, you're going to need Vampire combined with the BroodMother. This is pretty hard to obtain, and I think I've only gotten it twice, but it is very, very good. Not as good as Satan in my opinion, but it's a fun one to have because it spawns a vampire bat that bounces, and those bats fly toward a random enemy, dealing a decent amount of damage between 132 and 176, and then it turns it into a Vampire Lord. So I have footage of this one as well, which I'll show in the background, but it was very difficult for me to get this, but I felt so relieved when I finally did. It may look a bit weak, especially when you compare it to Satan, but to be fair, I also had an underleveled character, but it is still pretty amazing. I just don't know if it's worth the whole hassle of getting all those balls. If you have a character that already starts with, let's say, the BroodMother or an Egg Sac, then yeah, definitely work your way toward it, or don't be afraid to use banishes to make sure you get what you want. Now that we're at the end of the video, let me go ahead and announce my top 3 personal favorite balls that I use. And I'm gonna have to say that first and foremost, the number 1 ball is gonna be Satan. Of course, that is the best one that I have seen. However, I know a lot of people are in early or mid game, so I'd heavily recommend stuff like Magma or even Swamp. Any of those with the little blobs that come out. It really helps out, and that extra AoE earthquake damage is really good. So any of those would be good for my number 2 spot. And lastly, I'd probably say Overgrowth. I'm a really big fan of that one, but I'll throw in Nuclear Bomb as well. Those are all my personal favorites. But yeah, if you guys like this video, go ahead and leave a like, go ahead and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed.